Hi, I'm Mayce.
And I'm Missy.
We're best friends
and business partners. And each week, we're going to bring you a quote that inspires us, and we're going to talk about it.
Join us as we break down our favorite impactful messages for leadership and share how you can apply them to lead with confidence and purpose.
Get ready for a fun and authentic journey into leadership, life, and everything in between.
Well, hey, bestie.
Hey, bestie. How are ya?
Great. It is time. It is our favorite day of the week. It's time for another episode of the Let's Talk About It podcast.
It is, and we've got a powerhouse with us today, Coach Jeimy, or also known as Jeimy Arias.
Yes. Hey, Jeimy.
Hey, bestie.
We're so excited
Hey,
that you're
bestie.
with us today.
How are you? Thank you for having me.
Of course.
We're so glad you're here. So, Jeimy, before we dive into our quote, and we actually talk about it, right, along with some talk about your new book, why don't you share some highlights of you, like who you are, what you do, etc., just real quickly with our listeners?
Absolutely. Well, I am a born Colombian. I've been in the U.S. for almost 30 years now. For the ones that don't know, I came to this country speaking no words in English, and I had to learn the whole thing.
Wow.
I was about to be 17 when I came here. I lived in New York for about 15 years, and now I am in Georgia with my beautiful family. I have 2 kids, a beautiful daughter. She's 19. My son is 17. He's a senior now, about to graduate.
Wow.
A happily married woman. We are actually going to be 25 years of marriage next year. So
Wonderful.
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you. And I love people. I can talk. So I'm glad you guys you're gonna give me a chance to talk.
Yes. Well, listeners, this woman is on a mission. She has a new book out called Purpose Driven Leader. And we just want to tell you, like, it's not just another leadership book, right? It really is a roadmap to overcoming fear, breaking through limiting beliefs, and leading with real purpose.
It's already on the Amazon bestseller list, and now you can get the physical English edition through her website, which we'll put all that in our show notes for you.
But Jeimy, if you have the book and you want to hold it up, I don't know if you did that, but we want
Right
listeners
here.
to see
There you
it
go.
is real, a hard
go.
copy. Very
Love
good.
it.
We're
Good.
excited
So,
to share this, baby.
yeah. Well, today we're going to unpack one of our favorite leadership quotes by Theodore Roosevelt. And it's one that, at the end of every episode, we ask listeners, do you have a favorite leadership quote? If so, send it in and we may choose it. This is one that we get a lot. So finally, we're like, we have a great person to talk about it. So here is the quote. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
So you're welcome,
girls,
listeners.
Yes.
You are welcome.
Let's talk about it.
Let's do it. I would say this one hits home, right? Especially we're all in a world where titles and results, they sometimes matter like more than relationships. But we know real influence, that starts with caring, doesn't it?
It does. So, Coach Jeimy, your book is all about leading with purpose. So we want to hear from you first, right? When you hear that quote, what comes to mind for you?
I love it. And I am so happy you chose this quote because it's one of my favorite quotes.
Oh, good.
It's one of the quotes that I like I live by it. There's a Bible verse that I live by, and it's called "All things work for good for the ones that love the Lord." But then when we talk about quotes and we talk about leadership, of course, we know leadership is influence. And a lot of people think I'm not a leader because I don't have a big title. And that is one of the big problems that people face every day in their minds, because I'm not a manager, because I'm not a CEO, a CFO. I'm not a leader, so I don't have to worry about it. But you are a leader regardless. If you lead someone, sister, a son, even your neighbor, or someone at the store, I don't know, you're leading every day with the way you act.
Yes.
And there's nothing better than when you cross roads with anybody on the street. And you might not see that person anymore. But when you cross words and contact and communication, you make them feel good. Then I know how much you know.
Yeah.
That's so true. That is so true. So let me ask you, Coach Jeimy, in your experience, what's the biggest mistake leaders make when they're trying to connect with their teams?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. For me, I think is they try to talk too much. I think that's one of the big ones because a lot of times people on positions, they feel that they have to tell people what to do. You got to do this. So we got to connect in a way that I need to make sure you understand what you need to do. But they fail at listening. And my grandma used to say, you have 2 ears and you have 1 mouth.
That's right.
You got to listen more and you got to talk less. And this is one of my favorite ways how to put it when we don't listen or when we have the need to listen. I think they fail at listening more. And
I love that. I love how you highlighted you can let someone know how much you care by listening.
Yeah, saying less.
And I have to tell you something. In my family growing up, we had this problem of everybody will talk over everybody.
Oh, yeah. Not just your family.
It's just a thing. So it was a struggle for me to learn how to listen. And I'm still learning.
Of course. Well, one of the themes in your book that really stood out to us is fear, right? How fear keeps us from stepping purposefully into what we're called for.
Yeah,
so talk a little bit about that.
And I would say too, we work with a lot of leaders that are fearful, right? They're fearful of being too vulnerable or too soft or losing control. Because remember, we're talking all about caring. And sometimes I think depending on the industry too, like I don't want to show someone that I care. This, it's too, what is that? Like
soft is the word I think
soft
of.
Or like
vulnerable.
No, it's like I can't think of it. But yeah, soft and vulnerable, but those aren't the words.
Those will
soft
work,
and vulnerable will work.
So what would you say to the leader who wants to lead with more care, but they're afraid it's going to make them look maybe weak?
Oh, touchy-feely was the word I was
touchy-feely,
looking
yeah.
for.
I hear that, Mayce.
Let me say this. As a leader, we need to care about people. We need to care how they feel. We shouldn't feel afraid to care. Actually, you should feel so confident that you know that caring for someone in your team is going to help them. If you show that you care, you gotta have that confidence. You don't have to have that fear that is gonna make you look weak. No, you gotta have that confidence that by actually caring about someone in your team, that's actually gonna help that person grow. It's gonna help everybody around them and you grow because you're showing that you care. You should have that confidence. You should have that confidence to just care for people without feeling that you're weak.
Yeah, I mean, leadership is all about people, right? So you have to care about them. In your book, you also talk about turning fear into fuel. So how can leaders start transforming that fear? Like, I hear what you're saying, Jeimy, like they should have the confidence, but if it's still fear-based, how do they do it to get that confidence, right?
That's good, Mayce.
That's a good question. And I think fear should not drive you. Everybody has fear, okay, in our emotions. And there's something that I learned. You have 2 parts in your brain. And it's called let me remember if I can, oh my God.
It's whatever I had was contagious.
Something in your brain. I just forgot the name in English, but it's something in your brain that manages your emotions and it manages fear. When you let fear take over, that is a problem. You should have fear. Yes, because fear is for protection. Okay. When a tiger, when a lion, when a snake is gonna come after you use fear to propel you to escape, to save your life. That's what fear is made for.
Right.
Fear shouldn't control your leadership. Fear shouldn't control how you make someone feel. Like, if you care enough for people, then you should put care first.
Oh, that's good.
So good. Yes.
I like that. If you care for people enough, that's going to override that thought or feeling.
Exactly. So
I mean,
Go ahead.
That's powerful, right? Like when you literally think like you've got to overcome that fear, because caring doesn't mean you're weak. It's actually strength in that. And
Yeah.
showing that you have to overcome a fear, I think, is part of that.
Yeah. I love
I
that.
mean, you gotta take on that, and that's what I was saying, that confidence and that caring, to know that by helping somebody, and you know what? I always say that when you do things from the point of service,
Mm-hmm.
it's always going to come back to you. Not because you do it for that reason, not because you,
Right.
oh, let me serve someone because I'm looking for something else after I serve. No, it's just that it's a boomerang. I call it the principle of boomerang. I don't know if it exists. I don't know if I made it up, but I call the principle of boomerang. It's service. When you, it's always going to come back to you in any way.
Yeah.
So just serve people. Just make people feel good. Just do it from that caring point. Surely enough, it's going to come back to you in a way, not because
Yeah.
you're looking for that, but it's just the principle.
Yeah, it's so good. So you also talk a lot about limiting beliefs in your book, right? The inner voices that people hear, you're not enough, you're not ready. I mean, we could go on and on with the voices in our heads, right? How can a leader begin to recognize those beliefs in themselves? Sometimes they're loud enough, but what if they're not?
That's the thing. A lot of times people, they don't have the awareness to maybe go back to their childhood. A lot
Mm.
of the things that we have, those voices in our minds, it could be that we grow up with someone telling us, you're not doing it good enough.
Mm.
It's not perfect. You got to go back and do it again and do
Yeah.
it again. And until it's not done perfectly, you're not done. And we hear those voices, and suddenly those voices become our own voices. So sometimes those people are not even in our lives anymore. They might
Yeah.
have passed away. It might be, family members. It might be parents, grandparents, even a cousin. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, a cousin, when I was growing up, that girl used to make my life so miserable. She
You're
Oh.
so
like
sweet.
a
Why did that
tiny
happen?
thing. And she was always the leader and taking over. And I always felt little when I was around her. But
Mm.
now we're really good friends. I love her.
Oh, good. You overcame. So
Yeah.
let me ask you, like, once someone recognizes those limiting beliefs, like when they start hearing those thoughts, what's one action step that they can take to break through that?
I think it's the awareness first. Stop and think. When you have those little people on your side, like the one that tells you the positive things and the one that tells you you're not good enough, you can't do it, you're not capable, you're too short, you're too tall, I don't know, your hair is not curly enough, your hair is not straight enough, you haven't gone to school and you don't know enough. It's like, who are you listening to? Stop and think. Is this a lie that I am choosing to make it a truth in my life and I'm believing, or it's something that I can change? Can I flip it? Okay, in the moment that you have a big challenge in front of you, let's say you have to speak in front of 1,000 people, right?
Right.
And then because you had a bad experience back then, speaking in front of five, now you spoken in front of 50 and 100 and it did well. But now that you have a bigger challenge in front of you, you're thinking about the five people that you spoke to and it failed. It's the truth. What about you go back into the story, into the times when everything went well, when things went well, and you believe that and say, I can do it. I done it.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
put the bad experience on the side. You put the bad experience as part of what is propelling you to be better. Okay,
Oh, I like that.
go well this time.
Yeah.
What can I do to make it be better this time? But don't make it a truth a lie that you decide to make it a truth.
Right.
Uh,
Well, let us ask you this, because obviously you coach, right? That is what you do. Do
mhm.
you have a story, and you don't have to share names or anything, but do you have a story from someone that you were coaching, a leader who, before you started working with them, knew a lot, right? Or maybe had that fear, but you helped them to go from knowing to caring. So now they know how to care, just like this quote talks about, and how that changed for that leader. Do you have a story that you could share there?
I got so many, but I'm gonna tell you one. You know
She's
what?
full of stories.
I'm sure.
One of those stories that turns out to be like a I don't know if you call it a 180 or 360 degree, like
Yeah,
it goes
turnaround.
back in circle. And I remember when I was in corporate, and I love to tell this story. She used to be my human resources manager. I was the finance manager at that time. And when I was in corporate, there was a time when I thought I was doing everything fine. Okay. I was not a coach at that time. And I used to coach her in her own office without knowing. I will go, I will tell her, she will always be so afraid about like making steps on her own. She said, I want to have a bakery. I want to have my own business. I want to step out of corporate and have my own thing. And I used to tell her, you're going to do it. And I'm going to be standing with you one day, cutting the ribbon to that bakery. I know you will. And I said it to her so many times, but this is the funny part of the story. When she was told that I had to go and leave the company, she said, no, how can you let her go? She was told it's either her or it's you.
Oh.
She had to make the hard decision to fire me.
Wow.
Oh.
When she said, Jeimy, we're letting you go. The one thing that I was told is, in Georgia, we can let you go for no reason. And I had to leave corporate. That was the last time I worked in corporate. But that's where the interesting part is. 2 years after, she came back, she called me and she said, Jeimy, I got fired from that place. And now I'm about to start my own business. I was already coaching at that time. And she asked me, can you be my coach?
Wow.
This is the beautiful
That is so
thing.
cool.
You know, she used to be my boss. She fired me. Now she, like, her life made a turn, and now she was my client. And I was able to stand with her the day that she inaugurated her store, and I was next to her cutting the ribbon from her new baby.
Yes.
So she left fear on the side, because trust me, she was very afraid. She didn't know what to do. She thought that she couldn't do it. And by me standing next to her, and of course, fueling that courage and fueling that trust, and you can do it, I was able to stand next to her,
Wow.
overcoming that fear.
Yes.
So good.
Love that.
Right.
Okay, so for anyone who's listening, who's ready to take action, right? They want to take action, but they don't know where to start. What's one small step they can take today?
I will say awareness. Okay. First, be aware about putting aside fear, how much you want to do this. What is your why? When you go back into your story has a lot of power. And that happened for me. When I sat down and I stopped to think, what is the reason why I want to do what I want to do? I went to my childhood. I went back into my story and I started putting pieces together. And today I'm a business coach because I grew up in a business home that probably I miss my dad many times. He wasn't there. He did what he could, okay? And I admire my father. He was a hardworking, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. But I learned so much from that man. And one of the things that I learned is to step in faith and do things no matter what. He used to care a lot for people. And I learned that from him. And he told me one day, stop working for other people, have your own business. I said, okay. When corporation told me to go, I was in a place where, what am I going to do with my life? What's next for me? And that day I sat down and I said, what am I going to do next? No more numbers, no more corporate. What is next? When I realized my story that I learned, that I grew up learning about business, I could do something different to help business owners to do business differently. Practical. That was a way to give them money, but not wasting their time and saving time so that they could use that time with who matters the most. Because you know what? I miss my family when I was growing up.
Right.
And I want to help business owners to take care of that part that is so important.
So good.
For people could be something else,
Yeah.
but a lot of people is family, and that's what I help them with. I help to grow sustainable businesses that are smarter, not harder, that they have a revenue, that they have a profit, but that they can also save the time to spend it with their family. So that's my why. When your why, you put your fear on the side.
Love that. So let's ask you this about your book. If you had to say to someone who's going to read The Purpose-Driven Leader, what is one thing that you hope that every reader takes away from Purpose-Driven Leader?
To find their purpose, honestly, to sit down, to reflect on their life, because a lot of people is lost. They don't know and I know how that feels, okay?
Yeah.
The day that I got fired and I had nothing in my hands and I had to start all over again, I didn't know what my purpose was. I sat down, I prayed, I took a hold of faith first, and I asked God, what is the next thing for me? And when I thought about my story, and when I thought about the people that was in front of me that I could help, because a lot of times you think, oh, who's gonna listen to me? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, there's over 8 billion people
That's
in
right.
the world, okay? There is someone for you out there because your story is going to connect with them. So a lot of times your story is actually the reason why you went through it is because you were going to help out somebody that was going to come your way and you were going to bless them. So
good. So good.
Your pain is going to help somebody else to overcome pain.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Well, I think that's a great segue to our big takeaway for this week. Listeners, if you only take one thing from this week's episode, let it be this: knowledge, experience. It might open the door, but it's care. It's what keeps people in the room. Real leadership. It isn't about what you know or who you know. It's about how you make people feel seen, valued, and safe to grow in their purpose.
Yeah, that's right. When you lead with purpose and genuine care, trust does follow, and trust turns compliance into commitment. People don't follow expertise. They follow empathy backed by action.
Thanks so much for joining us, Coach Jeimy.
Yes, thank you.
And I want to leave you with something quickly.
Okay, go ahead.
You know your why, you will find the way. Okay.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Find your why. That's all I can say. Thank you, ladies, for having
Yeah, you're
Of
welcome. Well,
course.
as we wrap up, we ask all of our guests this one question. What is your favorite leadership quote?
mine.
Yes, yours.
Yeah.
You know what? There's so many, but the
I
one I
know.
talk about is one of my favorite ones. Okay. People don't care how much you know, but they know how much you care.
I know. It's like everybody's favorite.
It is. It's
like
everybody's
out of
favorite
all the
quote.
quotes that we've done, it is the one that comes up the most, and it's the one that comes up the most for our listeners.
It
too.
is. And so, listeners, we want to hear from you. Not this one. We've done it. We may do it again later with other perspective. But do you have a favorite leadership quote? Send it our way, and we might spotlight it on a future episode.
We'll be back next week with another quote and more leadership insights. And you know what we're going to do?
Yep. We're going to talk about it. Bye,
Bestie.
Jeimy.
Bye,
Bestie.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, besties.
We want to thank you for listening. If you're enjoying this podcast, please show us some love by clicking the 3 dots to download the podcast. Leave us a 5-star rating on your podcast app and talk about it with other leaders to help them find the show from any of the major podcast apps. We'd love for you to follow us on social media too. Mpactful with an M _messages on Instagram and Mpactful Messages on LinkedIn.